My beloved child, there is a truth you still have not fully accepted. Not one day of your life has happened by accident. The fact that you are breathing right now, that your heart continues beating in its steady rhythm, and that these words are in your hands today is not the result of luck or only your own strength. It is the mark of my hand going before you in places you never even looked. You believed you survived because of your determination, your character, or your ability to endure when others would have fallen. But, my child, without my quiet protection that you never noticed, you would never have made it through those nights when your soul felt like an empty room without light. Do not see today as nothing more than another day after yesterday. It is a gift of grace, a moment given to you not to repeat old patterns, but to remember what your soul has ignored for far too long. For a long time you believed faith had to be measured by thunder, by sudden signs, by amazing miracles, by something so obvious that no one could doubt it. You kept waiting for that thunder while missing the fact that I was already working through the quietest parts of your life. I did not choose to meet you only through dramatic moments. I placed you in ordinary days where life moved slowly, without bright flashes or great events. Yet those ordinary days became your routine. You started believing that if nothing extraordinary happened, then nothing from God was happening. You were mistaken. The deepest work happens when everything appears quiet on the outside, because I build the foundation in places your own eyes cannot reach. Listen to me now, not only with ears that quickly react, but with the deepest part of your heart. I did not come to fill you with fear or show you a dark future. I came to wake you from a long sleep, a sleep of putting things off while telling yourself, there is still time. I will deal with it later. Things are not that bad. Have you noticed how that way of thinking slowly weakened your desire for me? You learned to call emptiness peace. You learned to call spiritual dryness maturity. But I see the thirst inside you. I see your tiredness. I see your deep longing for a real touch from me instead of simply another ordinary day. My child, every second of your life unfolds within a plan you did not create. Not one breath is wasted. Not one morning is without purpose, even the mornings when you wake up feeling heavy, without direction or inspiration. Those are often the moments when I quietly speak truth into your heart. You were not created simply to exist. I allow you to feel tired so you will stop depending only on yourself. I let you reach your limits so you will begin searching for a source greater than yourself. If my work in you were already finished, you would no longer feel that emptiness. And if the thirst inside your heart is still alive, it is a sign that I am still calling you. There were dangers that passed very close to you, and you never even realized they were there. There were crossroads that looked small and unimportant, yet they could have led your life to a completely different ending. You never realized it because I walked ahead of you, quietly guiding your steps and gently closing doors that hid wounds which would not have healed easily. You never heard the danger or saw my intervention, so you believed nothing had happened. But that was my protection. I watched over you through the nights while you slept without knowing what had been kept away from you. I carried you through the days when exhaustion made you move only by habit. You did not notice because true protection does not make a loud display or ask to be praised by everyone. I also silenced voices that did not come from me. They entered your thoughts looking reasonable and convincing, sounding so much like your own mind that you hardly noticed the difference. They did not shout or frighten you. Instead, they slowly taught you to question your value, to make your dreams smaller, and to believe you were only meant for a quiet life of endless waiting. I weakened those voices before they could take deep root. Sometimes you wondered why you suddenly stopped halfway, why a strong desire faded before it was finished. You called it weakness or uncertainty, but many times it was my hand keeping you from taking a step that would have slowly drained your soul. My beloved child, listen. I am not speaking carelessly or simply out of habit. Brothers and sisters, YouTube has demonetized this channel. Every video is now made at our own cost with zero ad revenue. Every script, edit, and upload is done by a real team serving this ministry with their time and skills, not for a paycheck, but out of love for God and for you. Without your support, continuing this work becomes incredibly difficult. If this ministry has brought value to your life, now is your chance to invest back and help keep the Word of God reaching the world. If these messages have ever moved you or strengthened your faith, please support us on Ko-Fi. Even a small gift goes a long way. The link is pinned in the comments. If you are watching on TV, open your phone camera and scan the QR code on screen. It takes you straight to our support page. Pray over it, and if God leads you, give. Thank you. This moment is not just another pause between ordinary days. It is an important crossing where much of what comes next begins to take shape. You may think today is no different from any other day. You may believe you are only hearing another message before returning to your normal routine. But I tell you, what you choose to do with this moment will leave a deeper and longer mark on your life than you can imagine. Some doors do not open through loud actions, but through a heart that truly listens. Some changes begin not because circumstances suddenly improve, but because something inside you is deeply moved and can no longer go back to the way it was before. You have only a short opportunity to choose your response. Not because I am rushing you, but because your heart must wake up before it slowly falls asleep again under the usual excuses. If you ignore this invitation, you will keep living, but you will live only half awake. Not desperate enough to cry out, yet not awake enough to step into something deeper. I do not want that life for you. I did not create you simply to exist through habit or to spend your days only surviving and accepting whatever happens. I am calling you into a life lived with purpose, where you know why you rise every morning and why you keep going even when the path is not clear. Let me reach the deepest part of your heart right now. Do not listen only to your mind as it measures gain and loss, success and failure. Listen to your soul, the part of you that longs to live according to the purpose for which it was created. You have become used to putting off spiritual decisions, telling yourself that you will deal with them later when the time feels more important or more serious. But, my child, time by itself will never make you ready. Only the answer you give when I call opens the next step before you. I am not asking you to understand everything. I am simply inviting you to trust me enough not to turn away. My child, when your faith is tested, it is not because I enjoy watching you struggle. I am not standing at a distance to see how much you can survive. I allow your faith to be tested because faith that is never under pressure remains only a beautiful idea that is easy to speak about. Faith that has never been shaken never discovers where it truly stands. Faith that has never been challenged never reveals the real strength I placed inside it. You often believe faith is simply the feeling of peace when everything in life is going well. But I tell you, true faith is seen most clearly when you choose to keep moving even though you cannot see any clear guarantee ahead. Many times you have quietly asked me, why is this taking so long? Why has the answer not come? Why are the problems I have prayed about for so long still not resolved? I hear every one of those questions, and I do not blame you for asking them. But, my beloved child, there is something deeper than what your eyes can see that you need to understand. I do not delay because I lack power. I do not wait because I have forgotten you or because I am uncertain. Everything I do happens at the perfect time. The timing is connected not only to what is happening around you, but also to the maturity I am building inside you. What you call delay is often not found in my actions but in your readiness. I do not keep blessings away from you just to test your patience. I'm preparing the vessel that will carry those blessings, and that vessel is you. If I poured them into you while you were still cracked, the blessing itself would become too heavy to carry. If I opened the door before you were steady enough, what was meant to be a breakthrough would instead become a burden that crushed you. I love you far too much to give you something you are not yet able to carry. You only see the surface of your days. You see unfinished work, unanswered prayers, and roads covered with fog. But I see the entire chain of choices shaping your future. I see that every time you keep believing, even when your heart grows tired, quiet strength is being built inside you. I see that every time you refuse to turn away, give up, or close your heart, the foundation within you becomes stronger than you realize. What you think is standing still is actually deep growth. It is growth that cannot be seen with human eyes. Faith that has never been shaken cannot become truly strong. A tree that has never faced strong winds will never grow roots deep enough to survive a storm. In the same way, faith that has never been tested will not stand firm when greater responsibility comes. I am not preparing you only for a small season. I am preparing you for something that will ask you to stand not only for yourself but also for other people. That is why I allow the winds to blow. That is why I let the ground beneath your feet shake, not to make you fall, but to help your roots grow deeper into me. Sometimes you think that if I truly loved you, I would make everything easier. But my child, real love is not removing every hardship. It is walking with you through those hardships so you become the person I created you to be. I do not want you to spend your whole life settling for just enough because you never found the courage to trust me completely. I do not want you to look back one day with regret, realizing you came so close but never dared to take one more step. This moment is inviting you into a quiet inner change. It will not be loud or noticeable, but it will shape you deeply. You can rise in faith even while your knees are shaking, or you can keep delaying, walking the same familiar circles while telling yourself that tomorrow will somehow be different. But, my beloved child, tomorrow will not change unless you choose differently today. I am not here to force you. I am here to call you. I am not pushing you across the doorway. I stand beside you, waiting for you to step across it by your own free choice. Remember this. I am not holding you back. I am making you strong enough to carry what is ahead. I am not closing off your future. I am enlarging your heart so it can hold the future I have prepared for you. You only see this present moment. I see the whole journey with eternal understanding. Because I clearly see who you are becoming, I am not as rushed as you wish I were. But I am never as late as you fear. My beloved child, stop for a moment and listen with your whole being. Not only with your mind that is used to analyzing, comparing, and reacting, but with the deepest place inside you where your spirit has been waiting all this time to awaken. I am not speaking just to give you another thought to think about. I am speaking to light a lamp inside your heart. There are truths that, when heard only by the mind, are quickly forgotten. But when they are heard by the Spirit, they become life itself. I know you have become worn out by endless noise. Too much pressure at work, too many responsibilities, too much worry, too many hopes that were never fulfilled. In the middle of all that constant noise, you slowly became used to living without truly listening. The enemy has taken advantage of that. He does not need to attack with violence or obvious blows. He works through endless distractions, growing tiredness, and repeated thoughts that leave your mind confused and exhausted. He fills you with such deep weariness that you no longer have the strength to ask the deeper questions. He does not begin by making you believe an obvious lie. Instead, he speaks through questions that sound completely reasonable. If I really matter to God, why do I not hear him? If he truly loves me, why is life still so difficult? My beloved child, those questions are not meant to lead you to an answer. They come to make you stop searching. He whispers that I have become silent. He tries to make you believe that silence means I am far away. But, my beloved child, silence does not always mean I am absent. There are seasons when I allow quietness so you can learn to listen more deeply, no longer depending only on feelings or obvious signs. I do not disappear just because you cannot feel me. I do not leave when the excitement fades away. In the very moments when you think I am no longer speaking, I am doing a quieter work inside you, removing your dependence on constant noise so you can recognize my voice even when I speak softly. The enemy has used people and painful situations to change the way you see me. He uses broken relationships to convince you that I will disappoint you too. He uses long seasons of waiting to make you believe I am late. He uses closed doors to make you think I have turned away from you. But, my child, not everything that hurts is meant to destroy you. I allow these things not to take away your life, but to remove the layers that keep you from recognizing my voice among so many others. No trial you face is beyond my control. Not because I desire your pain, but because I desire your growth. You cannot truly learn my voice if you only hear me during peaceful times. You must also learn to recognize me in the middle of the storm. When the wind is loud and the waves never stop crashing, remember that my voice does not fight against the noise. My voice passes through it. Once you learn this, no situation will be able to take away the guidance I place within you. I also come to warn you. I am not speaking about the end of your physical life, because every life follows the order of time I have established. I am warning you about something far more dangerous: spiritual stagnation. A soul that no longer longs for me slowly loses its ability to truly feel life. A soul that keeps delaying its response slowly loses its sensitivity to my call. A soul that stops seeking begins to believe it is already full, while in truth it is living much more shallowly than it realizes. Spiritual stagnation is quiet. It gently rocks you to sleep. It does not frighten you. It makes you feel comfortable. I also warn you about spiritual blindness. It is when you look but do not truly see, when you hear but do not understand. You may read much, hear much, and know many things, yet still miss what I am doing right in front of you. Blindness is not the absence of information. It is the absence of spiritual wakefulness. There is also spiritual deafness. It happens when you stop responding to my call. Not because I have stopped speaking, but because you have become used to letting my voice pass by without answering. You hear, but you no longer stop. You feel, but you no longer act. You know the truth, but you no longer allow that truth to change the way you live. This is a very dangerous place because it allows you to keep existing without truly living. My beloved child, many people lie for many years but never really experience life. They complete responsibilities, reach goals, and protect their image, yet their souls never truly awaken. Many continue breathing while remaining asleep under the power of habit and fear. I do not want that to be your story. That is why I am calling you now. Not tomorrow. Not when your schedule becomes lighter. Things will never become perfectly clear on their own. I am calling you in the middle of your tiredness, in the middle of your confusion, in the middle of the storm you are facing today. Because if you learn to hear me here, you will be able to hear me everywhere. If you recognize my voice in the middle of chaos, you will never truly lose your way. Open your heart. Do not resist. Do not protect yourself. Do not rush to analyze everything. Let your spirit be touched. My child, I never called you to live with one foot on each side. I did not create you to simply survive each day with an exhausted heart. I called you to overcome. I want to see you standing strong, no longer bowing before the shadows of your past, no longer trembling before the voices that once made you feel small. I want you to live in the strength I placed within you. Not the strength of pride, but the strength of someone who knows whose they are, understands why they were created, and no longer waits for fear to give permission before moving forward. Before you ever saw the light of your first day, before the foundations of the earth were placed, I already knew you. I called you by your name from eternity. I placed within you an identity that is not defined by your failures and is not limited by what other people think about you. Yet, my beloved child, that identity has remained hidden for too long beneath layers of judgment, expectations, disappointments, and countless moments of blaming yourself. I want you to rise above every boundary this world has built around you. The world loves to place limits on you. It says this is as far as you can go. You are not good enough, not fortunate enough, not strong enough. Those limits are made to keep you small and to make your dreams fit the size of your fears. There are prisons that are not built with iron bars, but with words, memories, and false lessons learned through painful experiences. You have lived inside those prisons for so long that you began calling them your character, your destiny, even your reality. But my child, I did not create you to live inside the false reality of fear. I created you to live in the truth. I want you to break every pattern that has held you captive for years. Not only the patterns other people placed on you, but also the ones you built to protect yourself. You learned to wear a strong outer shell so no one would notice your weakness. You learned to stay endlessly busy so you would not have to face the emptiness inside. You learned to smile while quietly falling apart within. You learned to say, "I'm fine," while holding your breath just to survive. My beloved child, I do not judge you for that. I know you were trying to survive seasons when you felt there was nothing left to hold on to. But now I am calling you out of that temporary way of living. I do not want you to simply exist. I want you to be healed. I want you to be restored. I want you to be free. I want you to become the person I created you to be. The person who knows they are loved, chosen, and trusted. That identity is not a title you earn. It is the foundation on which you stand. When you truly know who you are in me, you will no longer be controlled by voices that change every day. You will no longer depend on approval to feel valuable. You will no longer use achievements to fill the empty places inside your heart. But before you can fully step into that identity, I must touch the deepest parts of you. The places you avoid. The rooms you locked away and called forgotten even though they still quietly control you. I am touching the wounds you pretend no longer hurt. I am speaking to the insecurity you hide behind confidence. I am speaking about the fears you cover with words of faith that sound right but are not yet true in your heart. My beloved child, I see beyond every mask. I hear more than your words. I hear your heart. I see more than your actions. I see the reasons behind them. I have not come to shame you. I have come to set you free. My child, there were moments in your journey when I spoke to you with great gentleness and complete clarity, yet you turned away. Not because you could not hear me, but because you heard me too clearly and became afraid of what obedience would require. I spoke during those quiet moments when your heart was calm enough to know the difference between my voice and your own. But you became used to putting things off. You kept saying, "Not yet. I need more time. I will do it when I am ready." Then the days quietly passed one after another without great drama or crisis. They became a series of moments where you stepped back from what I was opening before you. I know you did not mean to resist me. You never stood up and openly rejected me. You simply delayed. You slowed down. You placed my voice behind things you believed were more urgent, more comfortable, were more familiar. But, my beloved child, constant delay can become just as harmful as open rebellion. It only hardens the heart. It weakens your spiritual sensitivity. It teaches you to hear without responding, to know without acting, to feel my leading while remaining in the same place. Little by little, you begin believing that what I am saying is not really necessary for your life right now. Yet today I am calling you again. Not because you always made the right choices. Not because you prove yourself worthy. I call you not because you earned it, but because my grace has never been limited by your past failures. This grace does not become smaller because of the many times you delayed. It reaches deeper than every moment you turned away, stretches farther than your hesitation, and is stronger than your unfaithfulness. I do not measure my love by how well you perform. I measure it by who I am. My love is greater than the quiet rebellion hidden inside you. I know there were times when you chose your own will instead of my voice without even calling it rebellion. Yet my love does not leave when you do. I do not shut the door because you broke a promise. I do not remove your name from the purpose I prepared for you simply because you are moving more slowly than I hoped. I continue waiting, not with bitterness or disappointment, but with the patience of a father who knows his child needs time to learn how to trust. My beloved child, hear this with the deepest part of your heart. What you are facing today is not meaningless resistance or an empty struggle. The enemy focuses his strength against you not because of where you are now, but because of where you are going. He is not afraid of your present condition. He fears the future I have already written over your life. He sees things you have not yet fully understood. He sees the purpose I placed within your soul before you even knew your own name. That is why he tries every way possible to slow your steps, plant doubt, lead you into delay, and keep you half awake instead of fully alive. He is afraid of the day you truly awaken, because once you wake up, you stop living by fear, old habits, and automatic reactions. When you awaken, you begin asking the right questions. You begin listening with clear understanding. You realize your life is not a collection of random events but a journey filled with purpose. He fears the moment your eyes open and you discover that the things which once made you feel small no longer have the power you believed they had. He fears the day you stop defining yourself by your past, your failures, or the judgments that once weighed heavily on your heart. He is afraid of your obedience. Not the kind of obedience done only for appearance or to seem correct, but the obedience that comes from a heart choosing to trust me more than itself. When you obey me, you move beyond his control. Obedience leads you along paths he cannot predict. Obedience breaks the plans carefully prepared to pull you away. He knows that the moment you truly begin living what I teach you, even through one small step, everything around you starts to change. That is what he cannot stand. He is afraid of your transformation. Not the outward change that people quickly notice, but the quiet inner renewal growing inside you. As you change, you stop reacting the way you once did. You are no longer controlled by old wounds or familiar emotions. You begin thinking differently. You make different choices. You stand with new strength. When someone is truly transformed, they become a powerful threat to darkness, because light does not need to shout to remove the night. It only needs to shine. Pete is afraid of the moment you discover who you really are in me. Not the identity society gave you, not the role you carry, not the labels placed upon you, but your true identity, chosen, deeply loved, and trusted. Once you understand that, you stop trying to prove your value. You stop living only to please everyone around you. You are no longer afraid of loss because you know you belong to the one who will never lose you. That freedom is what causes the enemy to tremble. The moment you awaken, the chains that have held your family through generations begin to break. Some cycles did not begin with your own choices. They came through repeated patterns, inherited fears, familiar failures, and habits passed from one generation to another. You once called them fate, family traits, or simply the way life works. But, my beloved child, when you awaken, you become the first one to declare, "This pattern ends here," and when one person rises into the light, the direction of everyone coming behind them begins to change. The moment you awaken, those inherited patterns start coming to an end. Not because you have become perfect, but because you chose a different path. You no longer respond to the old way of living. You stop repeating the same patterns that wounded those before you. You establish new boundaries, make new decisions, and begin speaking new words. Even though these changes may seem small and quiet, they carry far more power than you can imagine. One decision made in the light can change the direction of an entire family line that has lived in silence. The moment you awaken, the chains that were working against your home begin to lose their strength. What was meant to divide you, wear you down, and leave you exhausted will no longer have a place to stand. Not because every hardship suddenly disappears, but because you are no longer standing where you once were. You have stepped out of the place of being a victim and into the place of building a home. And when you stand where you are meant to stand, the things that once ruled over you begin to lose their hold. The moment you awaken, the people whose lives are connected to yours will also begin moving toward freedom. You may not even know all of them. They may be your children, people you have not yet met, or souls waiting for the light you will carry. But, my beloved, your life is not only about you. When you become free, you make a path for others. When you stand firm, others find someone to lean on. When you choose to believe, others find the courage to hope. That is why the enemy wants to keep you asleep, because he knows your awakening will help awaken many others. The enemy fears you because I have placed my word inside you. Not so you will keep it to yourself, but so you will live by it, speak it, and act through it. When you rise into the person I created you to be, you bring light into places where darkness has ruled for years. That light does not come through arguments or fighting. It comes through the presence of a life that has been made new. So do not be surprised when resistance appears. Do not be shocked when the pressure grows stronger just before an important step forward. Those signs do not mean you are walking the wrong path. Many times they confirm that you are walking the right one. The enemy only fights what has real value. My beloved child, that is why I am speaking to you so clearly today, without avoiding the truth or making my words softer. It is not because I lack gentleness. It is because I love you too much to act as though everything is safe when danger is standing so close. I speak like a father standing at the beginning of the road, seeing what his child cannot yet see. When a child is walking toward a fire, a father does not quietly whisper while carefully choosing every word. He calls out loudly. He even shouts. Not because he is angry, but because love moves ahead of time. That is how I am calling to your spirit right now. Not to frighten you, but to pull you away from something that could wound you more deeply than you realize. You are much closer to your breakthrough than you think. At the same time, you are also much closer to spiritual danger than you recognize. Those two things often stand side by side. When a new door is ready to open, distractions increase. As the moment of breakthrough comes closer, the noise grows louder. Not to stop you by force, but to gently lull you back into old habits. That is why I cannot speak quietly now.